Profit margins are at an all-time high. Historically, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're set to fall. What more often than not happens when you get to a margin peak is they level out and they stay at a relatively high level. Maybe they trend down a little bit. The collapses in margins only tend to come when you are going from an expansion into a recession. And I don't think that's in the cards right now. Not only that, when you look historically at margin peaks and you look 1 year later and 2 years later at market performance, in general, the market continues to do well, above average for both 1 year later and 2 years later, barring a collapse in margins, again, that comes because of a significant economic contraction. I also think that taking a look back at margins and trying to get a sense of whether they're historically high or low, there's a problem there too, because so much more of both top line and bottom line growth right now for U.S. companies comes from overseas sources. So you are to some degree doing a little bit of an apples to oranges comparison. If you look purely at domestic only sources, margins are actually not as elevated relative to the historic norm. But there's, again, just as with valuation, I think there's a lot of factors you have to consider as opposed to taking a very simplistic look at the number compared to history.